Hello and welcome back to week 6 of the Premier League preview. Last weekend was another huge weekend with lots of goals. We had our first 0-0 draw as well of the season, and of course we had big talking points with Jordan Pickford's tackle on Virgil van Dijk making the headlines and really being the focal point of all discussion this weekend. That is, of course, more criticism of VAR, but I will leave that there as that is for another video. The weekend we saw 6 draws, but that does not mean the weekend was boring at all. We had a 2-2 draw in the Merseyside derby. We had a fantastic comeback by West Ham, who managed to pinch a point in the 90 plus 3 minutes with a fantastic strike by Lanzini to take a point away from Spurs, and of course Chelsea drew 3-3 as well with Southampton, which was plenty of action for us. We also had Manchester City beating Arsenal as well, and Aston Villa have continued their stunning run of form as they beat Leicester 1-0. Looking forward to this weekend, Aston Villa kick-off proceedings against Leeds United on Friday night. This could be a massive game for Aston Villa as they look to maintain their 100% record. The pick of the games on Saturday is Manchester United versus Chelsea at Old Trafford. Of course, there are some fantastic games on Sunday, as well as Arsenal take on Leicester and league leaders Everton take on Southampton. The weekend is then rounded off with Brighton taking on West Brom and Burnley who take on Spurs. The first team I have chosen in the teams to watch category is Southampton. Southampton put in a really gutsy performance against Chelsea last weekend. They were 2-0 down and looked almost dead and buried. However, with a fantastic second half and end to the first half display, Southampton managed to work their way into the game and ended up stealing a point in the last dying embers of the game. Southampton will be looking to replicate that fine piece of form in the second half which we saw against Chelsea against Everton this weekend. Everton, of course, are the league leaders and have only dropped 2 points all season, taking a point away from the Merseyside derby last weekend. Southampton have lots of quality in their side. We've seen Danny Ings score some goals, and we saw last weekend that they are very, very good at applying pressure on teams high up the field and forcing them into mistakes. Everton, of course, have a lot of pressure riding on their shoulders as they lead the way in the Premier League. Be interesting to see if Southampton can overcome the fantastic form of Everton this week. The second team I've chosen, of course, is Aston Villa. You can't not talk about Aston Villa this week. They have won 4 games from 4, beating Liverpool and Leicester in the process, and have only conceded 2 goals with the best defence in the Premier League. Aston Villa take on Leeds, and Leeds are a very, very handy side. They have proven against the likes of Liverpool that they can score goals and that they are very aggressive, having lost 1-0 and probably unjustly lost 1-0 against Wolves on Monday night. It will be interesting to see if they can bounce back and take some points from Aston Villa. Of course, Leeds and Aston Villa know each other well, having both been in the Championship together only a few seasons back, so it could again be another tactical masterclass when Leeds play. And of course, Leeds are a very aggressive side, like to get forward, and it'll be interesting to see if they can find a gap which no other team yet has been able to find in this Aston Villa side. The third team I have chosen in the teams to watch category is Manchester United. I'm interested to see how all of the teams play this weekend who have been in the Champions League and Europa League. United played PSG in the Champions League and were nothing short of fantastic. They created lots of chances and, importantly, won the game against a side that has Neymar and Mbappe, which doesn't happen often. Manchester United, of course, have struggled so far this season in the Premier League. They've won 2, lost 2, which isn't the worst of starts, but for a team such as Manchester United, it could be doing a lot better. Manchester United are a side that have been under heavy criticism recently, and they'll be looking to rectify that with another good performance this weekend. United really need to display some authority in this game if they want to put their mark on the league, and make the most of the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester City, and of course Arsenal dropping points around them, and these are teams that they should be competing against. So this is the reason why they are my team to watch this weekend. Moving on to the players to watch category, this week I've chosen 3 different players who I actually haven't picked before. So we're not going back to Sadio Mane or Virgil van Dijk, even though he's injured. We're not going back to the normal players. I've chosen 3 different players for you to keep an eye on this week. The first player I have chosen is Ademola Lookman. I apologise in advance if I've pronounced that wrong, but hopefully that's the correct pronunciation of his name. Lookman is now playing for Fulham on loan from RB Leipzig, and he played at the weekend and looked really sharp in the game against Sheffield United. He scored a goal, which was a fantastic goal, nice dribbling, a little bit of luck, but then a fantastic finish into the top corner. He looked like a real creative spark in that Fulham team and looked like he could really drive at the heart of a defence and create opportunities for those in front of him. Very much like someone like Jack Grealish, but maybe a bit more with an eye for goal. I think being at Leipzig is a great move for him, and being able to move to the Premier League on loan and then come back to Leipzig could really benefit this young man who seems to be playing really well so far and has been successful so far for Fulham. Against the team which they face this weekend, which is Crystal Palace, where defensively they can be a little bit shaky, then a player who can really drive at the heart of a defence could open them up, similar to what Wilfried Zaha actually does for Crystal Palace. On the other hand, Lookman could do that for Fulham and really open up the space in the midfield and in the attacking areas and get in behind the defence. The second player I have chosen this week is Joe Gomez. Of course, there was a lot of controversy last weekend around Virgil van Dijk and the tackle on him by Jordan Pickford, which in my opinion should have been a red card, but I'm sure we'll get into that somewhere else, or let us know what you think in the comments. Should Pickford have been sent off? Should he not have been sent off? Anyway, back to Joe Gomez. I think this is a real big opportunity for Gomez. He looked a little bit exposed when he played alongside Van Dijk against Aston Villa in that 7-2 defeat. And yes, I am going to keep milking that until Chelsea lose 7-2 themselves. But Gomez really needs to prove himself to Jurgen Klopp, and he needs to prove himself to the Liverpool fans who maybe might have given up on the idea of Joe Gomez after a few poor performances. Of course, he got taken off early against Aston Villa, and quite rightly so. If a player isn't playing well and not performing like they should, the best thing to do is often to take them off. Then either you protect them or you can get someone who's better, more going to be in the game, and that was Liverpool's technique. But Gomez really needs to step up this weekend. Of course, Liverpool are playing against Sheffield United, which on paper, looking at the form, should be very easy for Gomez. It should be a nice introduction into the team, playing alongside Joel Matip. It should almost be a walk in the park for Joe Gomez this weekend, but it could be vital to his confidence and how well he does for Liverpool. The final player I have chosen this week is Timo Werner. Werner scored his first 2 goals in the Premier League for Chelsea at the weekend against Southampton. He scored 2 cracking goals, both of which showed his real quality, something that we have not seen so far this season from Timo Werner in the Premier League. Werner, of course, having scored 2 goals at the weekend, is full of confidence and has shown Chelsea fans just what he can do. Therefore, Werner will be looking to improve on what he's already done and could go down as a little bit of a hero if he scores the winner against Manchester United at the weekend, especially if that puts even more pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which I'm sure it would do. With Werner facing a Manchester United side that is defensively a little bit nervous, he will be looking to do something that Neymar and Mbappe could not do by taking advantage of the nerves and getting in behind them and scoring some goals. If Chelsea can create opportunities in this game, Werner could have a handful of goals. Anyway, that concludes this week's Premier League preview. If you have enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment down below saying who you expect to be the player to watch this week. And of course, let me know what games you'll be watching this weekend. I personally will be watching Manchester United versus Chelsea, and I'll see you on my next video. See you later.